Hey there and welcome back to another episode of Northwest Craftsman. Today I'm ashamed to say that I made a ton of mistakes when I was making this picture frame. Today was supposed to be a video that was supposed to be relaxing with nice music as we were going through it, and I'll give you guys a glimpse of what that's like. But it was supposed to be a super relaxing, just watch the project being done video. And as I went through it, I made one mistake, second mistake, third mistake. They just kept on piling up to the point where I just couldn't finish it. And so I want to make sure that I show you guys how not to make those mistakes so that hopefully you can get through your projects more seamlessly. And I don't know if you're the same way, but for me, the more mistakes that I can watch other people making, the less likely I am to make those mistakes myself. So hope you enjoy. I certainly did not, but I hope you learned a lot, and we'll recap at the end. All right, see you in a second. Alrighty guys, well thank you for watching. Just to recap some of the mistakes that I make. Number one, my picture frame was just too small. These pieces are really too small to work with. It gets dangerous when I was working on the router table. That was actually what caused me to stop the project, as I got through my first piece just fine, got partway through my second piece, and then I just had the piece catch a little bit, and it was just, I was not comfortable with where my hands were. I wasn't comfortable with everything was, and it was just my gut saying, don't keep doing this. And so you really ought to listen to your gut, because it's going to lead you to the right place more often than not when it comes to safety. Follow your gut, listen to yourself. So I went ahead and stopped, and the root cause of that was just that these pieces are too small to be working with. There's just not a lot of material. and I had to remove too much because of previous mistakes. The second mistake that I made, and you can see that a little bit earlier in the episode, was I did not account for the kerf on my table saw. So the kerf on your table saw is the width of your blade, and what I did, and you can see it a little bit earlier, and I'll pop up the video here again, when I slotted my pieces of wood back into the table saw itself, I lined it up directly with the width that was cut, because I was thinking, it's like, okay, well, perfect. So I need my half lap joints to match the width of my boards exactly. So if I just leave this exactly at the width where they were, this is gonna be perfect. I'll be able to cut them out, they'll be just fine. Problem, I did not account for the kerf. And so when you actually cut that piece inside of the kerf, it was exactly the same dimension. The problem is you cut out the kerf when you're going through there, and so I ended up with, I think it ended up being, actually it would just be one blade width on each one of my corners, which is why you see the overhang on this project right here. But the killer of that is that that added and took away my, or added to my error and took away my margin, so that when I went to go actually lay my piece in there, I ended up having to remove far more material than I expected to, which then led me back to my point number one, which was in order to recover, I needed to remove too much material. So always, always, always make sure that you account for the kerf on your table saw or your miter saw or anything else that you're working with, so that you can not remove that material and account for that material being removed. All right, and then the third thing that I learned, and this is one that kind of goes along with the first one, is that I didn't have enough material. And part of the challenge that I've run into with the picture frames in the past is that in order to get that rabbet cut, I have to cut all the way along the entire length of the different sides of the frame. And so what happens is they end up popping out the sides like this. So you can see right here, the rabbet that I had cut for this piece extends all the way out through the end, and I needed to do that in this case because it was too small for me just to start right in the middle. I think in the future, and maybe I need to think about this just a little bit more, is rather than trying to cut it all the way through to the end, I would actually very carefully start my router in here and then work my way down and cut it out early. So you still get a rounded edge, but as long as you punch it through larger than the size of the frame you need to put in place, but not so far that it comes onto the half lap joint, you're not going to see it on the outside, and you're going to be able to fit everything in there just nicely. So I still need to think through that. If you know of a really good way to get this rabbet and the half lap joint in there without causing a whole bunch of interference, I would love to hear from you and love to hear a comment, because I don't know why there's such a mental hang up for me on figuring this out. So, all right, thank you guys. All right, so I know that this isn't really a conventional video, but again, I want to thank you guys for joining. I hope that you guys learned a little bit about the mistakes that I made so that you guys don't make more of these in the future, so that I don't make more of these, and so that you guys don't even make them in the first place in the future. If there were other mistakes that you saw me making through this video, again, I'm all about learning and I want to get better at woodworking, and I don't claim to be an expert at woodworking. Please leave a comment down in the description below. I would love to hear different things that I can improve and things that I can do differently. I know that it may seem like you're ragging on me a little bit, but as long as it's polite and constructive, I would really love to hear back from you guys and just hear about different ways that I could improve my woodworking. So thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you like the kind of videos that we're putting out here at Northwest Craftsman, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Our community is continuing to grow, and I can't tell you just how much I appreciate it and how much I love seeing this community grow and how much I love interacting with you guys and answering questions and kind of explaining why I did things the way that I did. And like this video, hearing things that I can do better. That is something that I really appreciate, and it's something that allows me to get better at woodworking faster than I would otherwise. So thank you guys very much in advance. I appreciate it. All right, thank you guys. Have a good one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.